Hello everyone and welcome to Geekanime channel. I'm your detective host Igor, and today we are going to deep dive into Severance Season 1 Episode 2. Yeah, I'm a bit late. We're less than 2 weeks away from Season 2 and I'm really starting to get nervous. I wanted to make those videos before Episode 1 Season 2 drops, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to do this, but even if not, I'm still gonna make every rewatch. All of the 9 episodes are gonna be available. Even I'm gonna have to do it after Season 2 is going to be released. I'm going to do simultaneously reviews of the new episodes and also rewatches of the first season. So, saying that, as usual, before we begin, I want to thank everyone who supports me on Patreon, here on YouTube. Your financial support, your donations is what make this channel possible. Thank you so much for your support, and let's dive in. So first of all, I want to begin with the themes we already started to cover in the previous video, and we talked about the badges that they are wearing. So we can see that Mr. Grainer here is wearing, the original badge, if you can call it like this. This is the whole Lumon logo, not just the drop, and we can see that Miss Casey is wearing the drop. So there is a theory that, who is wearing the drop. It's fully severed people like Miss Casey. This is Mark's wife. She's, considered being dead in the real life, so she's probably being kept here somewhere in this place without being released, and this is why she's wearing the drop. And Mr. Grainer and let's say Mr. Milchik is not wearing this drop because they are not fully severed. But then in Season 2 we can see that Mr. Milchik is wearing the drop. We saw also the lady on the reception wearing the drop, so it still doesn't make any sense, and I hope it's gonna make some sense, and it's not just we made for you some kind of a badges and we thought it's gonna be nice to make 2 variations of it, and Ben Stiller was like, yeah, some will wear this and some will wear that, and that's it. Hopefully there is something behind it. So let's move on to the next theme we also started to cover, and this is the names of the files. And we have seen this in the previous episode. All of them, 100% of the names, were the names of some kind of a cities, locations in our world, like something that we can actually find. Like you see the Tumwater, this is Washington DC. We can see that Siena, this is a place in Italy. We can see like Jessup is in Georgia. Once again, there's a Kingsport, this is Tennessee. I was googling everything. And then there's Labrador. I was sure already this is not a place, but it's actually a place in Australia. And this is a dog. It's way better than a dog than a place, but still. And this is Le Mars. I was pretty sure this is France, but it's actually Iowa. And then we have like the Long Branch. This is New Jersey. This is an area in New Jersey. We have Minsk, which is obviously capital city of Belarus. For most Americans, it's not obvious. As far as I have seen in the videos online, you haven't studied geography at all there. But, like the rest of us know the capital cities of the world. So I'm sorry, most of my audience is from United States. I hope you know that I love you guys, and this was a friendly jab. This is not to hurt your feelings. And we can see here the Moonbeam. This is in Canada, and this is Nanning. This is in China. Nanning is in China. Okay, good. And there is Narva. This is Estonia. And the last one, no, sorry, not the last one. We have the Pacoima, which is obviously sounds something like I heard sometimes in some movies. It's a neighborhood in LA. This is not even a town. This is not even a city. And the Ocula, this is the first name out of a couple of dozens that it's not a place. I was Googling it. I was looking it for in ChatGPT. I was trying to find some kind of a Ocula there. It looks like this is the first time this is not a place. So what does it even mean? Like we talked about, those places, maybe, since they are recycling people here, like this is my theory, that they are recycling people, they're making them better. They're taking, the defected people, they're suffering, they're depressed. They're not contributing to society anymore like Lumon wants them to contribute, and they're recycling those people. And maybe this programming that they're making here, like removing the emotions and, like putting them in the specific categories, is somehow actually programs people in a different other locations that are also probably controlled by Lumon. But this is like already something new. Ocula is not a place. It sounds like, Oculus Rift or something like a VR or something. But maybe all of those names, once again, don't really somehow connected to places. Maybe it once again just some names, some code names for something. There's also an interesting thing that I think it's very important to notice and to remember. The finish on average is 1 in 5 files before they expire. what does it even mean? Like, if they are programming some kind of a chips, or maybe they're programming some kind of a people, how could they expire? 1 out of 5 expire. So maybe they're programming people like Miss Casey, you know, people before death, like some people that are in the brink of death and they're about to die already, and they go to the Lumon Enterprise because Lumon controls freaking everything in this imaginary world. Not like in our world, there are no monopolies in our world, right? And those kind of people, when they're like already in the brink of death, maybe they're being sent to be severed, and then you have some specific time to actually reprogram them to become severed people, like our, you know, Innies. Just an idea. Anyway, we're moving forward. Another thing we discussed in the previous review, this is the colors. We've seen here that the blue color is very much, you know, like related to corporate. All the time we've seen blue. This is the Innie, this is the Lumon, this is, you know, being the good worker. Even when Heli is receiving her chip for the first time, we have seen this, like a lot of blue color around her. Now we have seen here is also the red and blue. I'm sorry, I just added a bit vibrance to this image, and it kind of looks like a little, not that blue, but it is blue. In the original it's blue and red on Mrs. Selvig hair here. Once again, this contrast between two personalities, maybe it once again suggests that there's way too much about Mrs. Selvig that we don't know. There is something about her personality that obviously we still don't get enough information about. So also the fishes, once again, they're showing it to us, the two personalities of Mark Innie and Mark Outie. Outie is red, Innie is blue. Even the clothes that they are wearing is usually Outie is wearing red and the Innie is wearing his navy blue suit. So we have seen here like even Petey taking a shower with the song called Daydream in Blue. Probably maybe some kind of a coincidence, but still, I notice, I share. And another thing that is kind of still stays in the question mark for me is, like here in this moment, Petey is obviously not feeling well, and he's getting a call in his, you know, like burner phone, and it's probably from Regabi, and he is not answering. So is he not answering because he's just not feeling well and he's bleeding, or is it maybe something that actually happened between him and Regabi? Okay, they are not maybe, you know, departed in a very good terms. There is something about Regabi that's not also being said to us. I don't know what, but maybe Petey is a bit angry at her because after the reintegration, he's obviously not feeling very well and he's gonna die in the next episode, I think. So we covered the themes that we started in the previous review, and we're gonna keep covering them. We're gonna keep covering everything until we get even clearer picture about what happens here in Severance. And let's start to talk a little bit about our Innie's psychology. Okay, so first of all, we've seen this in the previous episode when they were asking Heli what is his Mr. Eagan's favorite breakfast. And we can see here that, you know, Mr. Mitchell is saying her like, do you know he used to drink 3 raw eggs in milk each morning, and this is like his favorite breakfast, blah blah blah. I've heard. So she knows. And a lot of you were saying to me in the comments, this is a way to test her short-term memory. That she remembers something that she was told right before the surgery. Sounds logical, but it doesn't really hold because, first of all, she's hurt. She knows. She comes from the Eagan's legacy. She's Eagan herself. Okay, so she probably knows everything that is to know about the whole Eagan religion. So it's already not a short-term memory. This is first thing. The second thing will imply that everybody who is going through this severance procedure is being told by Mr. Milchik right before like they go in that, you know, this his favorite breakfast is blah 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 eggs and milk, because this is in manual. The question that was asked to Heli in the first scene of the first episode, this is in the manual. This is not an improvisation. This is not something they got just before, you know, Heli was inserted to this room. This is in the manual for everybody who goes through this procedure. So once again, what does it test? Does it test short-term memory? It's a pretty weak test there, because if you know this fact, it's already not testing your short-term memory, it's testing your long-term memory if it's disappeared. And if this is the fact that it's disappeared, and the fact that there are 50 states and you still know all of them is still there, what does it test? Both of them in the long-term memory. So why one disappeared, why memory disappeared, and why the other didn't, it's a question for me yet. So if you have some kind of an explanation about it, I would love to read it. Now we're moving forward, and once again we have the Welcome to Hell. You remember the first episode was even named like something about hell, and now we have this moment, and you know, I think it's not a coincidence that's like hello Heli, and we have here, you know, Irving blocking it, and we can see like hell, this is the place of hell. You can see it, like, for example, the scary numbers. This is something new. What I mean by that? This is not something that is in regular psychology of a normal human being. This is something that only Innies have. So it was something that was programmed into them. No matter how many numbers you're gonna show me or you, we're not gonna find them scary. And if we are, we should definitely talk to our psychologist, maybe even psychiatrist. If you are, please consider this. But in Innie's psychology, it's normal. If you're not finding those numbers scary, there is something wrong with you. So it's not only that your personality was severed into two different halves, something was added. Something was programmed into it, into creating this new, more obedient and more productive human being for Lumon. And this something maybe was programmed by the refiners themselves, okay, because it's a bit cruel and it's something that could be considered efficient by somebody like Lumon, who is all like, their whole religion is about being efficient and being productive and blah blah blah. And so yeah, probably. Anyway, we have another interesting moment here, because once again, they know they live in hell and they accept it. They know they're being trapped. But the only thing that they can do is to accept it. They cannot even revolt against it, because once again, if you're gonna escape and you're not gonna be in this place anymore, you're gonna die. That's what Hailey tried to do in one of the episodes. She tried to kill herself. And if they want to survive, they have to accept this. And they even saying, like, if you want to resign, good luck getting that approved. They do tend to get rejected. It happened many times. People try to escape this place. Hailey is not unique in this sense. Everybody, or at least most of the people who discover themselves in this predicament, they want to escape. They don't want to be there anymore, because once again, you don't get to experience life. You just get to dream about it. So what happens when you're in this kind of a depressing situation? What happens when there is absolutely nothing for you to live for? Okay, there other than work, which is obviously not a very fulfilling work, with all the incentives, with all the finger papers or whatever. Obviously, it's not a very fulfilling occupation for anybody. So what happens when people hit the rock bottom? Usually, like when you hear about somebody who is being recovering addict or something like this, usually something that helps them is a religion. But there is no regular religion in Lumon. There is only the religion of Eagan. And we can see it here, like, you know, we can see Irving is the greatest example of it. He is a paladin. He is, you know, he's a fanatic. He knows everything, like his favorite, like about core Lumon principles. All of them are my favorite. But today I want to emphasize Kier. You know, this is his personality. This is what gives him hope. Once again, religion. You create a new god. And the new god here is this Eagan dude, you know, the bearded one, the first one, Kier. His name is. Like, also this moment was a bit weird for me. It feels like it has some kind of a meaning, but I couldn't like put a finger on it. Like Mr. Milchik, he's explaining about Hailey here, and he's saying like, she's that, and her hair is, as we call it, shoulder length. And then he starts to laugh like a maniac, and everybody else is like, yeah, this is so funny, man. Like, hair is shoulder length. Somebody please call Jerry Seinfeld. He needs to get a message that there is a bigger comedian right now in the United States area. Like, why was that funny? Once again, it felt like programming. It felt like maybe the shoulder length, it's not a very specific, you know, explanation about how Hailey looks like. It once again some kind of a feeling of the outer world. This is how we speak, this is what we call like, and people are like so excited about getting this hint of what happens in the outer world with their outies, how they speak, how they talk. They're so excited about it. They're so happy about it. They're laughing. Oh my god, this is such an amazing information for us. And this is freaking sad. I don't know, with a capital S. This is absolutely the saddest thing I could ever think about. Them being happy about learning a small part of our human experience, making them so happy about it. This is absolutely freakishly sad and devastating and absolutely horrifying for Lumon to be in absolutely pieces of shit as a company. Anyway, another thing that kind of made me smirk. I used to work in offices, many offices. I'm a kind of guy that wasn't able to stay in one place for more than a year and a half. 2 years maximum. I get bored very fast. Like, I start to do something, I'm excited, I'm working my ass off, and a couple of months later I'm like, every work becomes a routine and I get bored, and either I'm getting fired because I'm not producing results as I used to, or I'm quitting myself. This is me basically after the age of 22, after the army, until about age 35. Yeah, doing every type of work there is with every office, and when I'm there, we are the best friends. We are family. We're going out together. There is a bar. There is a community. Whatever. We are doing everything together. Yay, we're family. And as soon as you're being terminated or you're quitting yourself, a couple of months later, your family is not there anymore. Okay, so your family is the people around you. This is your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, your spouse, your children. This is your family. People at work are not your family. They are your co-workers. And every time I hear something like this, I smirk. You can be friends. Obviously, you should be friends. And it's, once again, this is just my personal experience. Maybe some people actually met, like somebody at work and they became their spouse. Happens a lot, actually. I think one of the biggest percentage of marriages is actually like people that met at work. So it can happen. But, saying that everybody who works with you is your family, I mean, give me a break. Anyway, we're moving forward, and this moment, once again, the no death part. Once again, the programming of the Innies, when Mark started to show some real feelings, not the usual programmed corporate conversation when everybody's like, my favorite color is green and I like fishes, blah blah blah, and he started to talk about pity, and it made it feel sad. And then Mr. Milchik told him, please be sad equally, you have to experience sadness equally. You weren't sad about Carol D, but Carol D was not his best friend, first of all. The second of all, Carol D was like she resigned, and everybody was prepared, and Petey was just being torn apart from their life, and he's not even allowed to feel sad about it, because there is no death in this place. It doesn't happen there. Once again, there is no death. There's a lot of death for those people. Being fired or resigning is actually death for the Innie. They are psychologically, and not only psychologically, even physically, slaves. Okay, you created a new personality of person. You created a new person. It's kind of similar to the whole AI debate. Like, can we, enforce a lot of work on them? And if AI and artificial intelligence is actually an intelligence and it deserves to be treated as a human being, this is also a conversation that is very interesting, but it's for a very different video. It's also even more applicable to this situation, because those are live human beings and they have no rights at all, and they even being denied in the fear of death, even though it's still around them in every possible second. Every time they go out, every time they finish their shift, they have this fear of maybe not even coming back to this place, and it can happen any time. So another interesting thing here, like Mr. Milchik telling me that's enough. Once again, the programming of the Innies. We are seeing this creation of this new humans. This break is bad. Like, once again, if you work in the office or any other place, break is the best part of the work. This is the time you go to smoke a cigarette if you're smoking, you're eating something, you communicating with people, not about work, but about other interesting things, about a TV show you watched, about something. And here, we've seen that the break room is the worst place. Getting a break and go into the break room, it's not going to be like in Google. You're not going to play PlayStation 5. You're going to be punished severely. The whole concept of break, once again, this is human programming. This is creating a new psychology. Break is bad, work is good. This moment is very, very interesting for me. I'm still not 100% sure about it, even though it kind of seems clear. We know right now that Irving, he is a painter. In his out, he's a painter, and he's using a lot of black gooish colors. Like, he's always drawing this blackish kind of elevator where Mrs. Casey was sent to in one of the episodes. So this is probably why we see this clash of personalities. We know that they're not completely separated. We know that's already. Okay, it's not like black and white. It's not like there's an Innie and there's an outie. There is some kind of a clash between those personalities, and this is why he having these daydreams when he's a little bit falling asleep during the work and he's seeing this black gooish paint there. Completely understandable. But the part that it's kind of not clear to me is why we're seeing this black goo in the first intro, in the intro of the TV show. Like, it feels important not only to Irving and to his experience, it feels important to everybody, to the whole Severance concept. Like, everybody should know about this black gooish color there. So I don't know, maybe I'm just bringing too much into it, but I would love to know what you think about it. So we've seen it once again, the color under his fingers. Maybe this is once again something that affects his daydreams. And as I told you, one of the most horrific parts about their experience here is the only happiness they get is the life in fantasy, is the life in fantasy. Like every time they get some kind of a glimpse of the life from the outside, this is their happiness. This is how they get to be alive, actually, through the conversation with others. You know, by Miss Casey saying to them, just relax your body and be open to the facts. And please try to enjoy every fact equally. I need to start open my videos like that. Anyway, like even in this moment, we can see that they're all living in the fantasy. Like this is obviously not true. This is all lies. We've seen, you know, Irving is a complete loner. Doesn't really have anybody in his life. You know, Ari is a friend to children and to the elderly and to the insane. I kind of not exactly sure that being a friend to the insane is 100% a compliment. I don't know. Once again, you can decide by yourself. But your art is splendid and you can swim gracefully and well. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but we can see that once again, Irving, some facts he's enjoying more than the others, and Miss Casey is getting angry. Like even in this moment, all of those caricatures, they're once again, they're presenting them in some kind of a fantasy. We can see him being, you know, way slimmer than he is in real life, and he's a champion, and he's like, yeah, I'm so happy about it, blah, blah, blah. Once again, they give them fantasy to live. This is their biggest incentive. This is horrifying. If you think about it deeply, this is completely horrifying human experience. And then, like, once again, it's still a test. It's still some kind of a, I don't know, some kind of a programming that they are doing to them. Please try to enjoy each fact equally. Why is it important? Because they are creating new, more efficient humans. As soon as you love something more than you love anything else, you will be you're not gonna be objective about it, okay? But if you love everything equally, you're a freaking robot and you can be manipulated to be work like one. So this is what they're doing to those people. Like once again, something that felt like this is like an incentive. This is like something that is done for Irving to be better at his job. Is once again some part of programming. And once again, we have a carrot and a stick. She's just reading those lines. She's not like she knows something about him. And she has some kind of a points, and now he got 10 points less. So you have a carrot. You're gonna get the fantasies that you want about your outie, how amazing he is. And you have a stick. If you're not gonna behave like we want you to behave, this amazing experience is gonna be over for you. Please don't respond to any specific fact. This is starting to become a torture. Once it's like, think about it, once again, the psychological part of it. You start to enjoy something and you're opening yourself, you're relaxed, and then you're being forced to enjoy everything equally. So you're being forced either to lie or to force yourself to some kind of, I don't know, psychological length that are completely not possible for human being. This is a pretty big stick. This is not already an incentive. This is a freaking punishment here. So yeah, we're moving forward. We can see that, you know, as I told you, Haley starts to see some scary numbers. They were scary. The numbers are scary. This is something that's been inserted into her brain. You don't born with the ability to see scary or happy numbers. This is something that was done for our Innies. Another interesting thing that is kind of, I cannot put it in a very specific theme, but it's something that I think very worth in remembering. We see that everybody else gets here incentive, like we can see like them getting the finger, whatever, the caricatures. If you do something good, you're gonna get something good. But Mark is the only one, as far as I can tell, that just got this crystal cube with his face just because. Just, you know, have fun, get some crystal cube. And it's kind of doesn't work with their usual regular Lumon logic here. That's not a prize, that's just something they gave him. Why? For what? I know that Mark is special, but I know that Mark is special for Mrs. Selvig. I have not seen him being special for the whole company. Not like it, still, after one season, I haven't seen those signs. I know that Mrs. Selvig is obsessed with him, obviously. She's like following him like a hawk. But she's obviously have some kind of also interior motives, alternative motives than the Lumon. Maybe she have some goals that she still didn't express to us. So it's worth remembering. I think hopefully it's going to come back to us and maybe it's going to be important. And this moment was kind of cute because, first of all, how lucky we are to see, you know, John Turturro and Christopher Walken playing together in one TV show, and they're actually, you know, playing in love. which is, I think this is like a gift to the fans. It's something unique. It's not the usual experience that we get on the screen by those two amazing actors. This is absolutely amazing. Let me just, you know, geek out and fan out for a couple of seconds. And this moment when like when he said like, I love that you did the Ambrose cycle in the team building space last quarter. We're not gonna discover what is an Ambrose cycle, but we know that John Turturro played famously an Ambrose monk, you know, a brother, sorry, of the hero of the TV show Monk. So it's just, you know, a cute wink to the people that know and love this show. So let's go through a theme that I think once again is very important, is the complete monopoly and complete obliteration of this world by Lumon. We can see that the chip technology is obviously by Lumon. It's not a big surprise. Of course, it's gonna be by Lumon. It's not a surprise. And I kind of enjoyed it's being like a missile a little bit. When it's in the brain, it kind of opens up a little bit and looks like a weaponized thing. I don't know, maybe it's just me finding something that's not there, but once again, I noticed something and I share. But we can see that the scalpel, the medical equipment, is also made by Lumon. We can see that the syringe, once again, a medical equipment, has a logo by Lumon. We can see also that the software is also programmed by Lumon. We can see that the coffee is also so the food industry is also being dominated by Lumon. We can see that electronics are also being produced by Lumon. We can also see that the cleaning appliances like brooms and everything also have a Lumon logo. We can also see that the office supplies are also being branded by the Lumon logo, and we see that even the leisure, the relaxation, whatever the hell this is, you know, some kind of an air purifier, is also have Lumon logo. And what is interesting for me, even in the caricature when they're putting the surfboard there, it has a Lumon logo. I don't know if it means that they're really doing, you know, surfboards with Lumon logo. I cannot imagine a surf dude or a surf girl in, you know, the bra guy, you know, the completely anti-capitalistic dude is actually, you know, getting a surfboard with I don't know, Lumon or whatever, like Amazon logo on it. So yeah, it's a bit funny for me, but we have here the HCl, the ketamine or something like this. This is pain relaxation. This is a painkiller, a strong one. When you do an operation on your brain, something like this probably will help. But it doesn't. This is the first thing that I saw doesn't have the Lumon logo. Maybe it's something once again about copyright, about pharma, you know, the creators weren't able to do this. But once again, I think it's interesting that through all of the industries where Lumon obviously is dominating and monopolizing everything that they can, pharma is one of the craziest industries in the world. Doesn't see everybody, you know, like they're looking at everybody from top to bottom in their overall like billions, trillions of dollars every year. This is the only place where we don't see Lumon logo. Interesting? I don't know, probably just a coincidence. Still, we can see this presence of Kier, of Eagan, of Lumon everywhere. They are not trying to create, you know, like bigger companies. When you become that big, what is your next goal? You either want to populate Mars or you want to create a new humanity and you want to become a god. Okay, so this is what we can see here also, like in the conversation in the date, they have been talking about half of this town is working for Lumon. Half of this town is called Kier. Okay, this is like, it cannot get even more religious than that. In this moment, we see like we sell Severance compatible attire. What the hell is that? What is Severance compatible attire? I have no idea, but they sell this shit. And here in this moment, like they talk about Lumon housing. And we've seen this. I talked about this in this previous review, that it looks like in this small town, only Mark and Mrs. Selvig live there. Nobody else. We don't see other people there. Like, it's only them here. Once again, Lumon housing. They are trying to rule the world. But you're not going to be able to do this without changing people's personalities. You can do this either by force, by forcing yourself, I don't know, funding a new military that's gonna be challenged to the strongest militaries in the world, which doesn't sound possible. Or you can start recycling people and make new people. You don't really care how much it's gonna take, how long it's gonna take, especially if you found a way to become immortal with you hold the revolving thing. Maybe it's, you know, staying immortal somehow and transferring your personality to the other body, whatever. But once again, if you have all the time in the world and you don't really care about it, let's start recycling the whole 8 billion people until all of them are, like, Kier, Eagan, oh, praise Kier, praise Kier. So yeah, we have the statue here in the middle of the town. We have, by the way, those guys probably gonna be somehow relevant in the fight against Lumon, because they are fighting already the WME. So they're talking about, like, maybe when you're severed, you go in there and you chop in some kids, and then you go back home and you drinking some coffee. You have no idea what your severed Innie is actually doing. Nobody's telling you the truth. So yeah, we will remember this shit. We know because the James Eagan, we kind of know who is the big boss right now. His name is Jamie, and just some small detail. So the worship part, let's talk about it. We see this not only in the Innies, we see it in those people too, the Audis here. I love seeing sunshine on his face. No person in human history ever said they enjoy somebody's face in the sunrise, or you're deeply in love with your spouse or something like this, which can happen, and I'm happy for you, but nobody's looking at somebody's statues and like, I'm happy to see the sunshine on his face. You should get a treatment, a very strong psychiatric treatment in this situation. So we're seeing this worship. And it's not only that, like in the Innies, you can see that acknowledge Kier Eagan's portrait verbally or silently. If this is not a psychological programming of people, I don't know what is. Because acknowledging somebody's presence verbally or silently, this is a complete brainwashing. This is once again making something way more divine than it is. It's not divine at all, but this kind of behavior, this kind of enforcing makes this divine for those people, because they need to acknowledge how amazing he is. And if you do this on a daily basis, after a couple of hundred of days, you're gonna think this is a god. Okay. Also, does the Lumon Compliance Handbook and Appendices. Okay, so look at those books. This is a Bible. Okay, I don't know if you know that the original Hebrew Bible is consistent of 3 main books. This is the Torah. It's also being consistent of 5 books. There is the Nevi'im. This is the prophets. And it's like 12 of them or something like this. And there is the Ketuvim, which is the writings. I don't know how many, 20 something, but they're kind of small or something like this. And it reminds me when I think I got this Bible. I had this Bible when I was a kid. There's the original Hebrew Bible is small, like the Old Testament. It's kind of small, it's small font. And I had the big one, which one page was on Hebrew and one page was on Russian. And it was huge. Every book was like, a couple of kilos there. And it looks almost exactly like this one. And you need to does this. One of the things that I noticed with religious people, once again, if somebody would drop a Bible on the floor, I remember people like instinctively getting them up, and it was like a reflex. They would dust it and kiss it. It was like an apology, like, sorry, the respect of this book, like dusting the book, like acknowledging its existence, the portrait of Kier Eagan. Once again, this is a basis of a monotheistic religion. And in a monotheistic religion, there is only one God. Okay, and his name is Eruiluvatar, and Tolkien is his prophet. No, I'm sorry. One God obviously is Kier Eagan here, so we're gonna have to deal with that somehow. Once again, we have also the commandments. As usual, in every religion, you have to have some laws and rules. Tame thy tempers, and let not weakness live in your veins. Yeah, we know that in any office there's gonna be some kind of a motivational quotes. We know this thing like, you believe in yourself, that kind of bullshit. But it usually, the semantics is not, like in the Bible. Once again, tame thy tempers. It sounds like something from the Bible. And once again, there is a reason for it, because they are growing a new recycled humanity that's gonna believe in a better, in quotation marks, God, the Kier Eagan, the production, the efficiency God, the work hard God and don't get shit for your work God. Sounds fucking amazing. Okay, this video turns to be way longer than I expected, so we should probably move on. So once again, when they're trying to figure out the numbers, we can see them quoting the Bible. This is once again the order, whatever you want to call it. And all in Lumon's care shall revel in the bounty of the incentives par. If you ever talk to some religious folk, you know that many times they're like, you should hear Proverbs 7:5, or something like this. Once again, no disrespect to religious people. I am kind of religious myself, and obviously I respect everybody's religion unless you shove it down my throat. This is like goes without even saying. All I'm trying to here show you is once again the equivalence between the religious talk, the religious talk that we can experience in our life, and the religious talk in Lumon, and they are creating a new god, this very weird Eagan god. So once again, don't pervert a handbook passage to me. Okay, this is the Bible. How many proof do we need to get here in order to, like, all of us accept they are creating a new religion here, and there's one monotheistic religion, one God, and his name is Kier Eagan. So here we can see him. Even look the way he's being portrayed. Like, until Morgan Freeman, we all thought that the whole Testament God is, some kind of white bearded dude, like this one, and he has a white beard and his white hair, and look even how he is being drawn here. There's some kind of a like a magical godlike halo behind him. And the Old Testament God can be pretty rough, can be pretty tough, destroying the whole world, Sodom and Gomorrah, and like, you don't want to make this dude angry. Here we can see that he is vying the tempers. I don't know why those are the tempers. Maybe, I don't know, like, maybe it's like, the gesture here is, the glee too much, like make too much fun, right? The old lady, the young lady, and the goat. I have no idea what tempers are those, but maybe some of you have any clue. And let's talk a little bit about something else, about Miss Selvig, the way she follows Mark. I think this is something, once again, that we need to put in our focus. Her ponytails, like when she's alone and nobody sees her, obviously there is something here, probably something from the childhood. This is the way she can feel comfortable. Like, just New Year was a couple days ago, and I was rewatching Narnia, the first movie. I remember being a kid, I was like 16, 17 or something like this, and I was not having a very good New Year, and I went to see this movie by myself, completely alone, and I enjoyed it so much. I was crying at some moments. By the way, this movie has one of the best soundtracks ever, in my opinion, and it's just a great fairy tale, something that you can enjoy because it gives you an ultimate message about the good and evil, and it's relevant. It doesn't matter in what period of time you're watching this. But once again, obviously from the movie production, it's like aspect, it's not really already holding the level of more modern movies, but still, I can watch this movie and experience myself being a kid again. Like, there is this theme, we are very dependent on other people, and it's like, it's great, we need to be with other people. I'm not advocating for everybody to be like completely by themselves, but every time I traveled abroad by myself, every time I travel abroad by myself, a lot of people that know me were like, how can you do it? Are you not bored? No, I'm not bored. I'm pretty interesting person, and I'm pretty, like, I enjoy being with myself sometimes. I enjoy being with my friends, I enjoy being with my loved ones, but I can also enjoy being with myself. And this is one of those moments when it kind of showed it to me, like watching this movie by myself, even though I was kind of upset, but still, like, it turned to be one of the best memories from my childhood. So yeah, we are always looking for those moments in childhood to come back to them, because this is like the happiest we ever felt, because childhood is the best period in our lifetimes. And like, we can see that Miss Selvig, she wants to come back to this moment. This is, I'm 100% sure this is something from her school period or something like this. She was forced to do this, or it was accustomed to do those kind of ponytails, and this is how she returns to this feeling of control, of comfort, whatever. And she's obviously following Mark, and as I told you, Mark is very, very special to her for some, I still don't understand reason. Like, I don't know why. Because she is the head of the whole Lumon department, and she is in charge of everybody there. The refinement, the O&D, the Christopher Walken guy, the Irving guy, whatever. Anybody is there is in her responsibility. But she chose to live next door to Mark, and she's following him. Were you on the date? When he was on the date, you were obviously following him. You know that he was on the date, and you try to figure out if he's honest with you or not, if he's hiding something from you or not. You are following Mark, and why Mark is so important to her, I hope it's not because she's his mother or something stupid like this from a Brazilian telenovela. I hope it's something else, and she looks at him like some kind of a possibility to achieve her goals, whatever her goals are in Lumon. So yeah, like this story also felt like something that was told from the movie or book, like she read something or she's seen something. It didn't feel like, I'm pretty sure she didn't have a husband. I don't know why, but I have this feeling about her. It doesn't seem like she's the person that can maintain this kind of a relationship. And she's like, my late husband was a carpenter, and she's like smiling. It also once again reminded me those conversations in Lumon when they're like smiling about some stupid shit that really don't explain why everybody should smile about it. And she's like, my husband was a carpenter, and in case I found a new man, he built a house. And even Mark is like, that is so sweet. This is a weird story. So her husband has basically built some room so in case she will find the lover. And he's like, she even drew blueprints, which I keep in my purse. This story is freaking insane. And Mark is like, yeah, you know, this is a weird neighbor, like, what you gonna do about it? But we, as viewers, we need to take notice. Something weird is here. I still think that Mrs. Selvig is fully severed. Completely, 100%. There is no real personality there. There is just the Innie that can go outside. That's all. Also, there's a lot of lies. Is she a nanny? Does she have a store? She cannot have a store. Like come to my store. So she's like putting her cover story in danger. If she has a store, she cannot be in Lumon. She cannot be in two places simultaneously, right? She can. I hope not. And it's not something we have seen in this show that can happen. So I don't know what is she talking about. What store? She also knows that Mark is not going to be able to go there because they work in the same time in Lumon. So if Mark is going to visit, okay, and he's going to visit it during the evening, she's going to be there in the store. So it means this store works in the evening when everybody's... Something is weird in this sentence also. Like, anyway, we're moving forward. We have some Gemma stuff here. We can see on the boxes written like Gemma's dad, Gemma's dad. And we have some kind of box here that says Christmas ornaments, and now it's camping. It kind of felt like maybe there is no happiness in this house anymore. But once again, maybe I'm bringing too much into it. And we can see Gemma's crafts and her candle is going to be important in the next episode. And that's it. As I told you, this video was way longer than I expected, but once again, it's a rewatch video. I know that not many people are interested in this. There's no hype around it, and I kind of enjoy when I can go all in and share every idea that I have in my mind. And thank you so much for watching until this moment. The first video was kind of surprising to me. I was hoping that it's gonna get to 1,000 views. That was the goal. I was pretty sure nobody's gonna be interested too much in this topic. Couple of years after the first season was released, but it got, I think, 6,000 or 7,000 views, which is awesome. So hopefully we're gonna get something similar, but even if not, once again, it's a community video. It's not a video for the views. It's not a video to, you know, explode on the internet or become viral or whatever. It's a video of me talking to you. You remember those times when, you know, every TV show before Netflix was released just once a week, and you would get together with your friends and your family and you would discuss, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or maybe we should wait together and see it all together and we like discuss it and talk about it. I don't have it anymore in my life, in my real life. This is why I do this channel. This is why I do this YouTube channel, because that way I can attract people that are interested in the same things that I'm interested in. If you're not interested, that is okay. You're gonna see some other videos and it's awesome. But if you are interested, we can discuss it, we can talk about it, we can go to the comment section. And by the way, you can join my Telegram channel. I'm gonna try to push it a little bit, because this is a great place to share with you my schedule, what are the upcoming videos, what I'm gonna do, maybe some of the process that I'm doing, some screenshot. Like sometimes there is some news or some idea that it's not really justifies making a video about it, but it's something I want to share and talk to you about it. So go to my Telegram channel. It doesn't cost any money, and I think it's gonna be fun. Yeah, the link is gonna be in the pinned comment and in the description. So thank you so much, and you can support this channel in any shape or form, whichever feels comfortable to you. If it doesn't feel comfortable doing anything else but watching this video until this moment, I thank you so much for doing this, because watching this video is the best thing you can do for me. I make those videos for you to see them and hopefully enjoy. Everything else, subscribe, comment, like, support on Patreon or on YouTube, whatever it is, it's very nice, it's very appreciated, but it's still a bonus. It's not the main goal. So thank you so much, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Bye!